Alright, this video is for Sunday, August 24th, going into Monday next week here. Let's take a quick look and see what the charts are telling us here. I'm going to start off at the weekly here. This is the Dow. And what I'm seeing here is an inverse head and shoulder, which is a good thing. So let's just go ahead and put a line from the neckline to the next neckline and then cross right over. And you can see we got a crossover right here on this candle. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure that distance to see what kind of anticipated move we can have. So let me just grab the bottom of the head here, right up to the neckline, like so. And then we're going to carry that over where the breakout is, right over here. And you can see the breakout was in good volume too. So believe it or not, maybe this will be our target going into the end of the year right here. So we're looking at a move of approximately 23% more or less, right in that zone up here. Now, if we get into the leverage ETFs, like the UDAO, that will give you the 3 times leverage over here. So that would be great. This is something to consider on the weekly. Maybe you wait for the first few pullbacks and then pick up some and of the Dow. Let's just go down to the daily so we can see what it looks like. I'm going to reset the chart. And you can see here where the neckline, here's your shoulder right here. And we got the breakout over here. We almost had the breakout on these two candles here, but they did not close above. They went back down. So maybe we would later on get a retest of, or get close to retesting this pullback here, and then head on higher. So that's something to be uh, keep in mind, and potential target price over here 553. So that's with the Dow. Now let's go over to the SPY here and look at the weekly real quick. The weekly is telling us a different story. There's no head and shoulder. Um, Unless you want to argue that this is kind of a little shoulder here on the weekly, and then this is your neckline here. All right, but it's pretty weak, so I'm not going to go ahead and say that that is a head and shoulder. So so no, nothing different here. Just it's been continuing to go up. Let's go to the Qs. Qs pretty much the same thing. This one definitely no head and shoulders. You could argue this is a shoulder, your head here, but there's no shoulder on this side, so we're not gonna say it's a head and shoulder. IWM though is a different story as well. And as you can see, we got the shoulder right over here, we got the head right over here, and a little shoulder right over here as well. So we're going to go ahead and draw the neckline from the top to this right here, draw it across. Now you could say we broke last week or 2 weeks ago here, more or less. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure the bottom of the head, get that in place here, measure the to the neckline, and carry it over. We're going to be conservative. We're going to say it's right over here, and just kind of get a measurement just to get an idea. We're looking at approximately a 33% area right up in this area as well. Again, maybe this week we'll get some couple of days of pullback. That would be a good opportunity to pick up some shares, especially the triple leverage. Let's go to the SMH on the weekly. SMH, I don't see any pattern like head and shoulders. So we do have it flattening up over here. So, but it's still, everything's still in the bullish trend. Now let's go to the daily here on the SPY. And you can see the last 5 days, we've kind of been trading just sideways here. since Monday to Friday. We haven't gone anywhere. So it's going to be interesting once we start breaking out higher. We do have a confirmation. This little yellow triangle is telling me that it has now, we now have a setup based on my trading strategy here. So a close above this would be a follow through to head on higher probably. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And the same thing with the Qs. You could see the Qs. We've got the pullback, touched the 50, and now we have the green dot here, meaning that momentum on the RSI 2 right here has crossed over to the 60, and now it's green, and that kind of puts that signal here. So this is a setup signal. We're going to go ahead and put an alert up here. So if we can close above this, then I would consider also going long. Looking at IWM, the one that had a head and shoulder on the week. If you look at the daily chart, we already had the pullback here, and now we're getting the thrust up here. This is your setup here. So if we could continue on closing on higher from here, from the high of this candle here, including the wick, then this would be a good entry point too, for confirmation that we are going to continue to go up higher. How much higher at once? Don't know. Maybe we'll go halfway and then we'll get the pullback in the middle of the month. Who knows? But just have to play it a day at a time, as long as you keep your stop loss and your trailing stops. Looking at the semiconductors here, pretty much kind of have the same story here. We got the pullback. Now we got the setup signal. We got the bounce. So a close above this area here, 296, would be considered a follow-through day and an entry. Let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can see we've been trading sideways or going downward trend line, and we got a setup signal here, and it did close above the 5-day moving average, which is good, and it just closed right on the 20-day moving average. And also we got the setup as well. So on this one here, I would look for a close above the high of that day, which is 66.83. Going over to gold. Gold's been kind of trading sideways here in a channel. So if we put the channel line here, you can see. And last time I got on gold was a couple of weeks ago right here, on that signal right over here. Gone up, took some profits, didn't do the breakout, but when it pulled back and closed below my stop loss, did have a small little gain here. So it looks like we're going to be able to get that to try again to see if we get up higher here in this case. Or if you just draw a trend line from here, let's grab that trend line example and run it down here. You can see we're hitting right at it here. So if we can close higher above this, then we have a good shot going up to over here at the 316 area. So let's look at silver. All right, silver, I'm currently in this trade here. Already took some profits here, sold half of it. Here's my price target, and it's continuing on. The day to get in was last Wednesday here. You got the setup here, so you could have gone in on Thursday right here, and then you'd be up in this area by now. So this one, just wait for the next setup on silver. Looking at USO oil fund here, you could see we got the nice pullback, blue dot here, and on the chart, red dot on the RSI 2 here. So we got the setup on this candle here, but we did not close above it. So then it pulled back, so it didn't trigger us in. Now it's again doing the setup as well. Usually once it turns green and then turns yellow, I don't follow the signals no more. So this signal is no longer valid. Wait for another pullback and to consider entering in my case here. So now let's go UNG, natural gas. Now this one's under the 200, so it's still in a bear market. And in this case here, we did show a head and shoulder or a regular head and shoulder right here. You could see the shoulder, the humongous head, another shoulder here. If you draw the neckline from here to here, we had the breakout down here. So I do have a price target down in this area, 972. I'm currently shorting this, so far it's been working out okay for me. We are in the money on this one. And then RSP, equal weight for the S&P 500. You can see, you look over here, you can say that we do have a head and shoulder. You got a shoulder here, a head here, another shoulder here. And then if you draw the neckline, it's kind of a little bit wonky. Way over here, you could make a case that we will have a move of, let me just get the bottom of the head in place here. From here, say, up to the neckline. Okay, and then go to where the breakout is, right over here. So you could say our target would be 215 up there. So that was approximately a 16% move. Currently where we're at now, if you enter maybe on Monday at where we closed and head up, that's a 13%. So 3% has moved up since this last time. And so here's our price target on here. And real quick, let's look at the VIX here. I'm not an expert on VIX, so everything I say here regarding VIX, take it with a grain of salt. But I do have a target that will come down here before we get the bounce right at this level here at 1359. So I've been looking for this level since in this area here, but we got the volatility, market went down, and then it's coming right back to it here. So this is the target I'm looking for that we can get to before maybe it reversing. All right, that's pretty much it for in general for the markets. All right, take care and have fun. Bye.